have you ever struggled with setting boundaries as a leader? I have. And in this video, we are going to talk about how to set boundaries. Specifically, we're going to focus on one of the boundaries that is critically important for you to learn how to master, which is your time. Now, if you've ever been in a situation where you felt like your time boundary was not where it needed to be, and people were going over and taking advantage of you in the time that you have, then this video is for you. This is going to be a Q&A video, and we're going to talk about it today. I will share with you some strategies that have helped me over the years to be able to navigate the complexities of establishing time boundaries, what specifically that I did in senior leadership roles that will absolutely help you on your journey, and talk about some of the things that you may not be aware of that happen when you start to set your boundaries as it relates to your time. Now, if you are watching this portion of the video, you are more than likely watching the replay, and I am glad that you are here today, whether you are new to me or you are a current subscriber or someone who is watching my information. I appreciate you being here today. If you notice that there are any topics that you find that come up for you during the live today, then let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I have to help you really go to that next level as it relates to how you are communicating as a leader. Now, if you are new to my channel, I focus heavily on advanced communication skills and strategies that will help you to stand out from everybody else as a leader. Now, the audience I work with in terms of my executive coaching and consultant practice are women in leadership. However, on many of the platforms that I have accounts on, I have women that are leaders that follow me. I have men in leadership that follow me. And I have individuals who are not leaders yet that follow me also. And if you have any questions, you feel free to let me know. I will answer them for you. And I guarantee you that you will find some universal information here that will help you on your journey. So I want to say hello to those of you who are present today. This is a live video. Therefore, let me know where you all are joining from today in this big, beautiful world. And what questions do you have as it relates to setting boundaries, especially as it relates to your time? I know many people struggle with time management, and oftentimes as leaders, this is something that we absolutely want to learn how to master. It is a challenge for many people, and we're going to go ahead and uncover some of those challenges today. Why are boundaries so important? They're so important because many people are afraid to set them. Have you ever been afraid to set a boundary before? Many times the clients I work with, they are worried not only about setting the boundary or what specifically to say when they need to set it. So let me know in the comments below. I want to say hello to Caesar Lagos 8976. Hello, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you all are joining from today. And if you've ever struggled with setting boundaries. Today we are focusing in on time management specifically. So let me know what challenges you have, and I will give you some insights that will help you be able to set these boundaries as we are stepping into 2026. All right, we have David McMahon, Q8G. Welcome, David. How are you doing today? And David says, I believe you're asking, what are we talking about? We are talking about how you can set boundaries as a leader. Specifically, we're focusing in on the time management boundary. Now, there are several boundaries I want you all to focus in on as we go into 2026. I want to say hello to everybody really quickly, and I'll share with you the 5 boundaries you want to focus in on 2026, and then we'll talk a bit more about the time boundary. That's what we're going to focus on today. If you've ever felt like someone is taking advantage of your time, this is the best place for you to be at today. Best place for you to be so we can talk about it. We have a Snowy Man. Welcome. Hope you're doing well today. A Snowy Man says, does explaining space-time in terms of laws just push the question back to why those laws exist rather than none? That's a great question. I think that's a question probably not necessarily for my channel specifically, but I think that's a very good question. Cohen Condor 89 Rock. Hello, Cohen. How are you? Welcome back, friend. Good to see you again. All right, we have Laura Joy Bodio 9 W5G6C. Hope you're doing well. Asking some math questions here. We are talking about how to set boundaries. If you ever struggle with setting boundaries, then this is the place for you to be today. Araya West, you're so pretty. Thank you so much, Araya. I feel like you've been on the channel before, Araya. Your name sounds familiar. If so, welcome back. All right, we have Bev Rogers 9906. Hope you're doing well today, Bev. And we have Singar Baba 440. Hello from India. Welcome back, Singar. Glad to see you again. And we have another language. I don't know the name. I just know your profile picture says V. So it says OMG. Welcome, welcome. Let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you're joining from, number one. And then number two, have you ever struggled with setting boundaries with people? Have you found yourself in those situations where you just didn't know what to say, how to say it? Was somebody taking advantage of your time? Were they? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about today. This is a Q&A. I didn't put that in the title specifically. I meant to. But you're welcome to ask me any questions. Feel free to learn from my over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a manager, and a director, and a public speaker to learn how you can navigate these very challenging situations. My role here is to help you all learn how to communicate confidently and concisely under pressure as leaders. And if you happen to be in my target audience that I provide executive coaching and consulting services to, which are women in leadership, then contact me for a strategy session in the description below. Let's talk about where you are and where you want to be in 2026 and how I can help you get there. All right, we have Laura Joy Bodionan, I believe. Thank you for the heart emojis. I appreciate that. W5G6C says, you're so smart. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. We have Amani SOS. Hello, hello. Someone's asking favorite color. My favorite color is blue. What's yours? Bev Rogers says, I need to be here. Well, Bev Rogers, welcome, welcome. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. We talk about advanced level communications skills. Let me share with you just some things to keep in mind that you'll see on this channel. We talk about how to communicate confidently under pressure, how to manage your emotions under pressure, how to maintain eye contact, how to think on your feet, how to do well in interviews, how to negotiate your salary, and amongst other many, many, many leadership skills. So you will learn a lot of information here. I'm saying this not only because this is my channel, but I'm sharing with you the experiences I've had. I've been in those senior leadership roles. I've made those very, very difficult decisions. I've managed a lot of people. I've worked with congressional leaders on the national level here in the United States of America, and then also here locally in the Sunshine State of Florida. I've been on the news. I've been on magazine covers of Howard University, and I've done a lot. I've seen a lot, and I'm here just to gift my knowledge to you. If you want some additional advanced support, you want to work together and make some serious movements. I can only do but so much in a group setting. I can only share with you so much, but I share quite a bit. For those of you who are regular subscribers and followers are here, you all know I give as much as I can. But if you have something challenging and you're dealing with a challenging situation professionally within your career or the role you're in, let me know. I'm known for dealing with the hard conversations, and that's my expertise, and I like doing it. So if you have something you're struggling with, let me know. I will help you figure out what to say and how to say it. Amani SOS says, yes. Bev Rogers 9906, I don't know how, and I'm 57. Well, Bev Rogers 9906, let me know what would be one of the number one aspects that you're struggling with right now as it relates to your profession, your role that you're in right now, and let's talk about it. Let's have a candid conversation. All right, Cohen, what are you talking about? Cohen says, hey, Barbershop. Welcome back, Cohen. Good to see you. I know you've been here a couple times, but it's always good to see you here. Pilot Dreamliner says, hello, everyone. Well, hello, Pilot Dreamliner. Welcome, welcome. Lord Joy Bodio 9 W5G6C says, hi. And Lord Joy Bodio 9 W5G6C says, wow. Bev Rogers 9906 says, I don't work with friends. Okay, that is good to know. Let me know what are some questions or some challenges you might be facing right now as you're trying to elevate how you communicate with other people. AVR5, welcome back, friend. I appreciate you coming back. You've been here on several of the lives. I appreciate you so much for stopping by again today. And Cohen Condor is talking about a radio mix. So let me know what you are working on, I would say, Cohen, and we can talk about it from there. Now, I do want to share with you all a couple things. So I have to say this disclaimer early in the live. So just bear with me. For those of you who are maybe perhaps new to me and new to my channel, I focus heavily on those advanced communication skills, and I focus a lot on executive presence. Now, what I will tell you is that my channel is growing quite a bit, and we've gained a lot of followers, and I will tell you all something just to keep in mind, and bear with me when this happens. As the audience grows, so do the trolls. And we've had a couple conversations here live. Many of you have been part of them, where we may have people come in that are just trolling the live and saying maybe some not nice things or being offensive. I will handle them. I will make sure I take care of them. Just know that I'm working on it, and I appreciate you all for being supportive, because many of you will come to defense and make sure while I'm talking that those people know not to say those things. We focus on very professional, elevating conversations. I'm here to change people's lives, friends. I'm not here to talk silly stuff that doesn't make sense. We do talk about some funny things on the lives, of course, but ultimately I want to change your life by helping you communicate at a higher level than your peers. And I take that incredibly seriously, and I'm so passionate about it. So just be aware, you may see a troll here or there. They are not under the bridge, they're online for sure. All right, so we have Laura Joy says, hey, I don't know how to okay, let me read what you're saying. Something about a dinosaur. So tell me what questions you have about setting boundaries. That's what we're going to focus in on today. Now, I mentioned to you earlier, there's 5 boundaries or 5 categories of boundaries that I want you all to focus on as professionals as you are transitioning into 2026. And this is for my leaders to help them be able to get to that next level and really focus on these things. I tell my clients in an executive coaching setting, when I work with women in leadership specifically, and I share it with my audience, whether you're in my direct audience I work with, or you're a man in leadership, or etc. Many times people struggle with their New Year's resolutions or their New Year's goals, or etc. because I found that there's one of 5 of these boundaries that might be missing. And so the boundaries I want you to focus in on this year are the following: your time boundary, which is what we're going to talk about today, your money boundary, your energy boundary, your personal boundary, and your professional boundary. Now, there's a spiritual boundary there as well, but I'm focusing more on the professional side of the boundary aspect, because that's what my channel is about. So today we're going to talk about the time boundary, and I'm going to share with you a bit about why it's important to protect your time boundary and set time boundaries. Give you an example of when I had to set a time boundary to give you some insight in terms of how you can strategize and think about how you want to have that conversation, and then help you be able to think about how you want to explicitly actually say the boundary. Because sometimes people are worried and afraid about setting boundaries because they don't know what to say. They don't know how to say it. They just know that their boundaries being crossed. And that's where I come in to help you be able to do that. Before I do that, let's go into the chat. Bev Rogers 9906 says, I always want to help them. I don't know when to stop. I love people and always want to give. Well, Bev Rogers, I think that is amazing, and that is so very kind of you. And you're the exact type of individual I would love to have a part of my channel here, because you're very giving. And many of us are very giving here. We share a lot of insights to help each other be able to go to that next level in our careers. Now, when it comes to being able to give and you don't know when to stop and you love, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, the only time, Bev, that I would mention to you where you may want to think about your time boundary specifically, and I thank you for the heart emojis, that the time I want you to think about your time boundary is when you are not taking care of yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself and you're giving all of your time to everyone else, there has to come a point where you have to take care of yourself. And what I see that happens a lot of times, especially with leaders and also with women in leadership like yourself, is that we are just so busy pouring into everyone else, we don't have time to take care of ourselves. Let me give you an analogy that I use all the time on my channel. And if you have heard me or you're watching the replay, just pause with me for just a moment and give me just a moment just to talk a little bit about it and share this with you. But when you're at a point when you are going on a plane, what does the pilot say to you when you're about to take off? Does anybody know? What do they say when you're about to go off on the plane? What do they tell you specifically? What do they do? They tell you the following. If this plane is going to go down, or there is something that happens, we have to land suddenly, you have to put the oxygen mask on who? You have to put it on yourself first before you put it on everybody else. So keep that in mind when you're working with your time boundary. You want to be able to pour into everyone and be able to be that person for them and give as much as you can. I do the same thing, but you have to make sure the oxygen mask is on you first, okay? Before you go trying to help everybody else put their mask on. Why is this so important? Because if you are able to give yourself oxygen, meaning that you're able to take care of yourself and do all of that, you can be in a better position to take care of other people. That's the only caution I would mention with what Bev Rogers mentioned is make sure you continue to be you, be your authentic self, give as much as you want to give and help as many people as you can. But there comes a point where you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And if you're taking care of yourself and taking care of everybody else, then high five. You're doing great. But just make sure you always balance yourself and make sure that you are taken care of as well. All right, let's go into the chat. Let's see what else is going on. Just 3429. Welcome back. Welcome back. How you doing today? Are you talking about you're talking about, okay, let's see what just talking about again. I know you're talking about France again and Macron. I know you are. Okay, let's see what's going on. Just 3429 says, hello, I am the Frenchman. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back. Who is saying, talking about Brigitte Macron, that she's a man. Truthfully, just really doesn't care. But the French government has condemned people for saying that even though it is the reality. Well, what's happened exactly? Because I'm here in the United States and I hear things politically because I keep up with politics quite a bit, but I don't know specifically what's happening if people are saying things like that. But we are talking a little bit about boundaries here today. Daniel Berry Sports Highlight 5851. Welcome back, Daniel. How are you doing today? And Daniel says, happy Thursday. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, Daniel. Good to see you again. I appreciate you stopping by again, okay? We have Dayana 1234 K7P. Hello and welcome. Bev Rogers says 9906 says silence your phone. Yes, silence your phone is actually one of the things they do say. And that's important too. Sometimes we do have to detract ourselves from our devices, even though we use them all the time. But sometimes we have to take a little bit of a break too. Diana 1234 K7P says hello. We have Jaden Grubbs H3S2 says hello. Jaden, I don't know if you've been here before. Your name looks familiar. I may have seen you before, but if I have, welcome back. Bev Rogers says that's hard though. Okay, it is hard, especially as it relates to taking care of yourself. It's hard, but it's one of those situations where it's necessary for you to take care of everybody else. Just 3429 says, even over there in the United States, a journalist who was supposed to release a report on the subject faced pressure. That is, and I would say I haven't specifically followed that topic in terms of the reporter or the journalist that you're referring to. There's all types of things out there in terms of media and what people say, what people don't say. And it's just something to keep in mind. You have your own opinions and you're welcome to say your own opinions. I think ultimately we need leaders that can actually communicate nowadays and communicate in a way that is still tactful. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. That's still tactful, that's still respectful and etc. And that values everybody's time. And we're talking about time boundaries today. I want to know from you, what are you struggling with as it relates to your time? Let me know. We talked about a couple things with Bev Rogers so far. I'm going to share with you when I struggled with time, what happened to me, and what I did to fix it. But I want to make sure that I say hello to everyone first. V2IIP30. Hey, Queen. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Murder Posse Films. What's going on in here? We are talking about how to elevate how you communicate and set boundaries. Murder Posse Films. We're talking about how to help you stand out as a leader. That is the focus of my channel. Sophia P3Y3J. Welcome back, Sophia. How are you doing today? Good to see you. AVR5 sometimes says sometimes I teach some people German. Okay, thank you for sharing that. And I know we talked about where you were from. Yeah, was it yesterday? I believe it was yesterday in our live. So I appreciate you mentioning that. Joanna Watson Q3E says hi, hello. Rosie Dipsy says good morning, hello, Rosie. And we have 42IIP30 says that's good at the underscore A underscore VR5. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Tracy Brunson 1452. Of course, Tracy, I remember you. Welcome back. Glad to see you here again. So let me share with you all a couple things. One, have you ever struggled with time and time management, time boundaries, anything as it relates to time? We're talking about boundaries today. Let me know in the comments below if you struggle with it. Let's talk about some strategies to help you not struggle with it anymore. Now, I will share with you, I have struggled with all of these 5 boundaries I'm telling you. I have struggled with those boundaries, which is why I'm sharing them with you, because I don't want you all to make the mistakes that I made early on in my career. I will say, if you like this information so far and you're getting some value out of the content, feel free to subscribe to the channel and like this video. It does allow it to reach more people as it relates to YouTube's algorithm. Now, for me personally, I worked as a higher level leader. I've worked as a C-suite executive. I've worked as a director, and I've been in those senior leadership roles. What I found that happened to me when I was in these positions specifically is that you work a lot. And as leaders and as other individuals, let me know if you work too much. I've worked too much. I know I've worked too much, and so has everybody else. One of the things that happened to me personally, and why I want to share with you the time boundary, is that I used to work so much. I was working 40, 50, 60 hours a week and more sometimes, just depending on what exactly is going on. And I found that I was starting to become burnt out. I've been burnt out twice in my life. And I noticed that I was just not doing what I needed to do because I was just over it. I was working so hard. There's so many things that were going on. And it was very, 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 very frustrating over time. And I had to do something, especially when I was making my transition into having my own business. There was a couple things that I had to work on personally. And I found that I was running out of time. How many of you have ever felt like you completely run out of time? You just do not have enough time in the day. I personally have, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that in terms of what I did to help myself not run out of time so much. And I'll share with you that, but I want to see what's going on in the chat. We have Sat Zaz. Hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome. Just says, after this, I'll stop at my American friends, type Bridget Macron into Google and look at the photos. They met when Macron was 15 and Bridget was 40. She was his French and drama teacher. Okay, well, thank you for that insight to give us some perspective in terms of what's going on in France. That's good to know. I always want to know what's going on in other countries because what happens in other countries impacts other countries. And it's good to know. Oops, sorry, I hit my light here. Sorry about that. Hope you all are okay on my bump my light. But it's good to know what's going on in other countries. I think it's very helpful. I think when you put yourself in a situation where you're only looking in one view, then you forget everything else is going on because they really do impact each other. Ghost Rider 2698. Hello. I believe you've been on the channel before. I think I remember your name. We have King Will Kid. Hello, welcome. King Will Kid says, where are you from? I am from the United States, from North Carolina, and I currently am in the Sunshine State of Florida. Okay, so we talked about what happened to me. I've been burnt out before. I have felt that feeling before, and one of the things I had to determine when I was making that transition to being a business owner was how can I grow my business while I'm working full time? It was very, very hard. It was not easy. And one of the strategies that I first developed early on was that I had to do a lot better with my time. And I had to set some serious time boundaries. And those boundaries sometimes were a bit uncomfortable because the role I was in at that time was not a role that was allowing me to really do a lot with my business. I had a very high publicly type of position, and all eyes were on me quite a bit. But I found time. And so what happened that I did specifically, and I want to say hello to Journey T Coding 816. Hope you're doing well today. What I did specifically was I found that I needed to set those time boundaries. I reverse engineered my day. I knew what time I had to wake up with my kids. I knew what time I needed to go to get everyone to bed. I knew what time I needed to get up to take care of things for me personally. And I had to reverse engineer my day. Now, let me share with you what I started to do. I started to find that in the role I was in at the time, that there were a lot of extracurricular activities or events or programs, etc., that I was somewhat expected to be a part of with the type of senior leadership role that I was in. But I decided that I could not attend those events anymore. Now, on the live previously, and if you're new to the channel, definitely spend some time on my live tabs to learn those very advanced communication skills and leadership skills. You will learn a lot on the live tabs. Just take a look at them. But we had someone on our live a couple weeks ago, last week actually, that talked about saying no to a Christmas party. They had other things to do. They didn't want to go to the Christmas party. And we talked about why and how you can articulate that information to someone to tell them that you're not going to go to the Christmas party. This is exactly what I'm talking about. There are different types of events and outings, etc., that you may find that are wasting your time. And sometimes we just feel uncomfortable saying, this is a waste of my time. And when we go to these events and we feel like what? We wasted our time. And this is why you want to set your time boundary, because you don't want to waste your time anymore. And if you are subscribed to my channel or following my content or watching my content, this is not what I want to have happen to you. I want you to be the person that can enforce those boundaries consistently, which is the key. So what happened to me? I started telling people no. And you would be surprised. I mentioned this before. I did a video on YouTube about how to say no at work. Somebody sent me a comment and said, oh, you shouldn't be telling people this. People need to just go to work. That's not right. And all kinds of stuff. And I decided that's exactly what I did. I started telling people, no, I'm unable to attend this event. I can't make it. I have something already planned. And it got to the point where people started to notice this. And they started to see, oh, okay, she's not going to these events. And they didn't like it. They did not like it whatsoever. And do you know what happened? They got over it because I still did not go to those events. I had to protect my time. And sometimes when you are setting those time boundaries, you have to do those type of statements and make those statements to other people and tell them you're not able to attend. So let me see what's going on in the chat, and then I'll tell you a bit about what happened after I did that. So we have AVR5 says, at King Will Kid, I'm from Germany, but I moved to America. Yes, so AVR5 talked a bit about that yesterday, and we talked about that. I will tell you one thing for sure, AVR5. I've been in the dental profession for a long time. I'm an executive coach now. But every time, and I have to just say this, all of the time we get things from Germany, they are just always just so well organized and so well put together. I love them. And I just wanted to mention that because I have a deep appreciation for a lot of German products that are out there. All right, Bev Rogers 9906 says, saying no is hard for me. So Bev Rogers, from an executive coaching standpoint, why is saying no hard for you? Let's talk about it. What makes saying no hard for you? And let's uncover it, and then let's determine how can we help you to say no when you need to. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're exhausted, maybe you need some time for yourself. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it today, Bev. Tanner Hughes 9265. Oh, thank you, Tanner. I appreciate your compliment. Thank you, thank you. We have Car Hurricane. Hello, how are you doing today? We have Garage Band Red Drop. I don't know what you're referring to there. My Desire 93. You're talking about something about being married. So this is not a relationship channel. My Desire 93. This is a channel where we are focusing in on advanced communication skills to help people go to the next level. We have Show Cat Ahmad RE5BV says, hey, how are you? I'm doing well. How you doing today? Good to see you. Bev Rogers 9906 says, I like to please everyone. Well, a lot of times that's okay. You're trying to help, but have you found yourself feeling a bit burnt out doing all that? Let me know. Let's talk about it, because many times if you are in a leadership role, I will tell you this now, you can't please everybody. You cannot please everybody as a leader. There's some people that are simply just not going to like you, unfortunately. GarageBand Red Drop says, I feel like people don't like talking to me. What are the main signals that I would notice that they don't like talking to me? Okay, GarageBand, let's talk about it. I'm glad you're here, and let's talk about it. If you feel, let's go into it a little bit deeper. If you're ready to go deeper, somewhat from my perspective as executive coach and a public speaker, we'll go there today, okay? First question for you, GarageBand, is if you feel like people don't like talking to you, my question is, what makes you feel that way? Is it something that they're doing? Is it something that they're saying? What do you feel like it is that is making you think that people do not want to talk to you? Let's go there first, okay? While you're putting that in the chat, hopefully, let's focus in on your second part of your question, which is what are the main signals that I would notice that they don't like talking to me? I'll share this with you because this is what I focus on my channel, advanced communication skills. So you can observe people. Observing people, GarageBand, is one of the most important communication skills that you can do if you have the ability to observe people. Why? Because when you take time to observe people, even though you may think of communication skills in the form of someone speaking and talking and etc., your nonverbal communication is absolutely very, very, very important to pay attention to. Now, if there's someone you feel like is maybe not at the point where they want to talk to you, then there's a couple things you may notice that people do. And I'll share this with you just from my over 20 years in senior leadership roles. If someone doesn't really want to engage with you or have a conversation with you, sometimes they may walk away. Sometimes they may say, I have something I have to take care of. Sometimes they may just simply not talk to you for whatever reason. And sometimes they may say, I'm busy, I need to go do something else. Now, when those situations happen, there's a couple things you have to keep in mind. First is just because, and I've had this happen to me too, GarageBand, just because somebody or someone doesn't want to talk to you, that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. I want you to internalize that, because I get the sense that you may feel like something might be wrong, but that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. That means there's something that you're probably trying to work on, or there may be something that maybe they're dealing with that has nothing to do with you, and they don't know how to communicate. So don't take it that way necessarily. I would say if you are wondering and you're debating on, okay, does this person want to talk to me or not? Then try to have a conversation and see where the conversation goes. And if you feel like they are diverting the conversation or going to something in a different direction, then that may not be the person you want to talk to. There's other people that you can communicate with. There are billions and trillions of people on planet Earth. And I don't know exactly where you live or where you're from, but I want you to know that it doesn't mean that something's wrong with you specifically. It may mean that the two of you just are not the right fit to have a conversation or a match, whether you're in a professional setting or etc. Just know that it's okay to not please everybody. Like we were talking about with Bev a few moments ago. You can't please everybody. Everybody's not going to like you. Stay on my live long enough, you'll see people not like me too. Just because they're trolls that come on the live, this is just a part of the territory. But the most important part of it is to develop a very, very, I would say, strong mind to help deflect those situations when they happen. Because sometimes when you feel like someone doesn't want to talk to you, it can impact your confidence. It can make you feel a bit lower about yourself than you really should be. And that's what I want you to try to avoid doing. I have several videos here that talk about, I have a video series that talks about confidence. It's an older series I have on my channel. And I have a lot of videos here on my live tab that talk about confidence too. My content here specifically is really to help leaders in general, but I work specifically with women in leadership. So if you see some of the content that say women in leadership and etc., know that you'll gain some information out of that also, especially as it relates to building confidence. So Bev Rogers 9906 says yes. So Bev, if you're struggling with burnout and etc., then this is the time where we've got to put the mask on. Okay, Bev, we need to put the mask on so that you are at a place where you're still able to take care of other people and still take care of yourself. It's very important because a lot of times caregivers and etc., they just give and give and give, but then one day they're sick and people were like, what happened to the caregiver? I thought they were fine. The caregiver was not fine. The caregiver was not taking care of themselves. I don't want you to fall in that situation, Bev. GarageBand Red Drop says they just try to walk away as soon as possible. It's kind of like they have better things to do. Well, guess what? If I would say interact, okay? If they walk away as soon as possible, say hello. Be the person to say hello and see what they do, GarageBand Red Drop. See what they do. And if they still act that way, then let them go on their way. Is there anything specifically that you feel like that you may be communicating with them that you may not want to speak with them? Let's talk about that. Let's see if there's something that we might need to uncover here for you to help you move forward with this as you're going into 2026. So GarageBand Red Drop says, yep, exactly. Daniel Doe 05U, hello, Daniel, how you doing today? And AVR5 says, I gotta go. Bye. Good to see you again, friend. I appreciate you being here. Natalie BR9L, hello. And Bev Rogers 9906 says, I have to go, can't hear. I have to go, can't hear. All right, Bev, well, it's good to see you here. I appreciate you being here and being a part of the live. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. And Bev, if you have any questions specifically as it relates to anything on my channel, if you're watching my live videos and etc. and you notice something, you think, well, how do I do that? Just type something in the chat, in the comments, and I will automatically give you a response. And depending on what you are asking for, I will do a video just for you to talk about that particular question that you have. Just depends on how much depth is in it. So good to see you, Bev, and hopefully you subscribe. Hope to see you again on the live. So I shared with you all a bit about my time management struggles. I was burnt out. I was starting my business. I couldn't do everything at one time. What was I going to do? I started to tell people in my senior leadership role, no, I could not go to these extracurricular events that were wasting my time. You have to understand that your time is very, very valuable to many people. And it's very, very valuable to yourself. You need to have your own time where you take care of yourself. And it's very, very important for you to do that. Now, I want to also say specifically, on my end, when I started telling people, no, I can't make it. No, I can't make it. I'm sorry, I'm not able to attend, and etc. They started to feel not happy about that. And even my boss at the time did not like that I was not going to the events. But guess what? What can you do? I'm just not going to be there. And I think you have to be to the place where you feel very empowered about your time in terms of where you want to spend it. And if you're finding that these work events or these certain events and etc. are wasting your time and you're not required to go to all these events, then sometimes you may not be able to go. Now, there may be events that you can attend. You don't want to say no to every single event, but there's times strategically that you can say you can't make it just to buy yourself some time. So what would I do? I would either be working on my YouTube channel or I would be working on my business. At the time, I was studying to be a certified holistic life business, a career and executive coach. And I was finishing up with my Distinguished Toastmaster Award with Toastmasters International. So this is something that we talk about. I talk about how you can manage your time, but first you have to set those boundaries and let people know exactly what your boundaries mean and why they're important. Before I go into the next strategy I want to share with you as it relates to time boundaries, we have Zohab Saquib 123. Hey, it says, hey, I'm back. Welcome back, Zohab. How are you doing today? Good to see you again. Let me know where you all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today. And if you've ever struggled with time boundaries, let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Chris Lookman, J3J9L says, what's good? What's the stream about? We are talking about how to set boundaries, Chris, especially as it relates to time boundaries as leaders as we're transitioning into 2026. If you've ever struggled and felt like people were just taking advantage of your time, and this is what we're talking about today. We're talking about that. So glad that you stopped by. Let me know if you have any questions specifically and what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today, Chris. So I mentioned to you about specifically what I did. I said no, and people didn't like it, and they got over it, and I was able to accomplish a lot of stuff at one time. And I will share with you, this is what I was able to do when I was able to set my time boundary. Are you ready? And I literally did all of this at the same time. And I'm not kidding with you. I did this. And if you think I'm joking, I promise you I'm not. But this is how managing your time boundary can completely change your life. During this time period, when I was working on time boundaries, I was struggling with it. When I started setting those time boundaries and saying, no, I can't attend this, I can't do that, I can't spend time with these individuals, or I can't do this, and etc., because I have to focus on me and take care of myself. I was still working as a senior leader, managing multiple sites and multiple individuals. I still did my job. I was able to become a certified executive coach through the International Coaching Federation. They have a program where they have other vendors and other teachers and instructors. I went to Go Imagery Institute, so give them a shout out there. But I became a certified executive coach. I was able to complete my Distinguished Toastmaster Award with Toastmasters International. For those of you who do not know, Toastmasters International is a world-renowned public speaking and leadership organization, and about 1% of their 358,000 members receive the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. What does that mean? These individuals, like myself, have done over 50 plus speeches. They have done a lot of leadership roles, and they can communicate pretty well. So I did that at that time too. I had another baby at that time, so I was dealing with mom life also. And then I was able to start my business at that time, start working on my website, which is exciteexcellence.org. And then I was able to work on my YouTube channel, in addition to me taking an exam to become an associate certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. Now, I did all this at the same time. And you may be saying, wow, that's a lot. And yes, it was a lot that I was dealing with. But the only reason, I'm going to give you the only reason why, actually two reasons, three. One reasons why I felt like this was capable, because one, God help me. Two, I worked with an executive coach at the time. And then three, I made time boundaries. If I did not make boundaries with my time, there is no way in the world I would have been able to accomplish the many things that I did within that very short time period in my life. Time boundaries will change your life. Just take a few moments and really think about what's important to you. What type of events or situations or interactions or conversations are wasting your time? And let's stop them in 2026. So let's go to the chat. Chris Lookman says, okay, ma'am, I understand now. I am from South Africa. Well, welcome from South Africa. Appreciate you being here today. Zohab Sequib123 says, how do I set time boundaries as a 16-year-old teenager and want to be independent? So specifically for you, in terms of where you are right now, tell me it depends on the type of boundaries as it relates to time that you need right now. Do you feel like you need just more space to do other things? You want to be independent? What does independence mean to you? I would start there first, because once we figure out what independence means to you, Zohib, then we can talk a little bit more about how can we set boundaries. And that's just me talking from just my perspective as an executive coach. There's always the question, but my role is to say, let's think deeper. Like, what is it really that we need to focus in on? And that's how people really move forward. This is what I do with Women in Leadership when you work with me as an executive coach or consultant. But let's talk about that, Zohib. So tell me, what does independence mean to you? What does independence mean to you? Then we can reverse engineer and figure out what type of time boundaries you need to set. So let me know in the comments below if you have a moment, and we'll dive into that today for you, friend. We have Henry S6H8H says, hello, Henry. Hope you're doing well today. We are talking about time boundaries. So let me know in the comments below if you all have ever struggled with setting boundaries in general, and what are you struggling with as it relates to your time management boundaries? Let's talk about it. So Sequib123 says, independence meant to manage yourself without any help or guidance. Okay, so if you feel like you're in a place where you're trying to do that specifically, then I would say those tasks or those activities that help you to manage yourself as long as you are proficient in them, then you almost have to show that you're able to take care of yourself or be more independent, if that makes sense. And sometimes you just need the boundaries to do that, right? You need the time to be able to say, okay, I can do this task by myself, but your guardians, caregivers have to make sure that they know that you can actually do it. And so in terms of setting time boundaries in that, this is what you might want to consider. You may want to consider potentially communicating with whoever it is that you're interacting with, or your caregiver, etc. You could potentially say, I would like to try to do this task, whatever it is, to manage yourself. I don't know specific, but we don't have to go into detail here. But whatever it is, this task that you need to do, maybe you're trying to clean up something, maybe you're trying to organize something, or you're trying to do a role, I don't know. But you could say, if you can give me X amount of time to try this on my own, that would be helpful so that I can learn this for myself. This will give you time to try whatever it is, and this will help the person you communicate with to start to see that you're trying to be independent, but you're setting your time boundaries. You're setting your boundaries because you have to pretty much prove that you can take care of, manage yourself when you're interacting with other people that are taking care of you. There's a certain amount of proving that you have to do there. And this is something I would recommend. Say, I want to try to do it myself. Can you give me just a few minutes to do it? So you give your boundary. Maybe you need 10 minutes, maybe you need 15 minutes, maybe you need 30 minutes, maybe you need an hour. I don't know. It just depends. But mention this is the time that you need to help you learn how to be able to manage yourself without help or guidance. And your guardians, or whoever they may be, or your caretakers, we know when we need to come and save you. Okay, we know when you might be doing something that's not right. And we just need to know. But I believe that if you're able to articulate that this is something I want to manage, I want to do very well at it, I want to do this without any help or guidance, just say, give me a little bit of time to do it. And that helps to set a time boundary for you, because you have a boundary in terms of what you're trying to do to manage yourself. Now, the opposite side of that is if you are trying to do something on your own and isn't related to you being independent or managing yourself, but you're at the point where you just need your time. Everybody needs their time. They need their space. You can just say, I'm working on a project, or I'm trying to relax for a few moments, or I'm trying to take care of something really quickly. Can you give me a little bit of time? Or I just need a bit of time just to take a break. I have this conversation with my oldest daughter all the time, where she's working, she's doing things, she just wants to play Roblox. Okay, well, she wants to play Roblox and have a good time. That's fine. I'll play Roblox with her too also. But this is something just to keep in mind, that we all need time. And it's just a matter of communicating those boundaries. The reason why people, Zahib, Saquib, 123, and everyone else here on the live today that are leaders, the reason why people struggle with time boundaries is because, or boundaries in general, is because we simply are not comfortable talking about them. We sometimes feel as if, oh no, I don't want to set this boundary. And I want to say hello to Arlene K5J. Hello, hello. But some people say, oh, I don't want to set this boundary because I don't want people to feel differently about me or feel bad about me, and etc. You don't want to feel that way. Sometimes people just don't know what to say. They don't know what to say. How do I say it? When do I say it? What do I say it? If you subscribe to this channel and you follow my content here, I will help you figure out a way to say just about anything as it relates to being professional. Okay, that's what I focus on, is professional conversations and being able to give you some guidance there. But there's always a way to say something. Just contact me and ask me a question, and I will help you figure out a way to say it so that you can still be your authentic self and feel comfortable in what you are trying to say. So Zahib, Saquib, I hope that gives you some insight to help you be able to learn how to become more independent. And I appreciate you so much for bringing up that question and for following up and talking a bit more about specifically what it is that you want to be able to do in terms of managing yourself, and etc. So I appreciate you so much for mentioning that. I mentioned to you that I did a lot of things when I started to develop those time boundaries. And this is why time boundaries are so important. We have to be able to have time for ourselves. one of the things that happens if you've ever worked with a certified executive coach, not someone that just says they're a coach. There's a lot of people out there that say they're coaches. There's a lot of them on YouTube. You want to work with someone that has actually done some formal training to coach you, to get you to where you need to be, or have some very, very in-depth knowledge or experience to help you do that. But one of the things in an executive coaching setting for the women in leadership that are watching, and for the men in leadership too, just so you know, is that it is, believe it or not, I tell my clients it's like a spa day. I tell my clients it's like a spa day. Why? Because this is a time where we are able to focus 100% on you. Most of the time, especially as leaders, whether you're a woman in leadership or a man in leadership, we have a very, 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 that's a very, very difficult time taking time out for us, just as Bev Rogers mentioned earlier today. People struggle with taking time out for themselves. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. They struggle with it. And this is the reason why people become burnt out. They become frustrated, and etc. And this is how coaching and working with an executive coach can truly change your life, because you sometimes need to carve out that time to be able to get in tune with yourself and know exactly what it is that's holding you up. What are your challenges? What are these obstacles that are preventing you from moving forward? What are some things that came up for you in 2025 that you need to get over to get to 2026? What are they? And this is a perfect time to do it. I don't want you to be that person that says, I'm going to set a New Year's resolution and this is what my resolution is going to be. Thank you for the heart emoji. I appreciate that. We need to dive deeper as to why this is important to you and what specifically you need to do to overcome this challenge. And in an executive coaching setting, this is exactly what we do. All right, so Zahib Zaquib 123 says, sometimes I just feel uncomfortable setting up time boundaries. Excuse me, Zahib, because I feel like I'm overlooked a lot from my parents. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I would say specifically for that, what's the key word that you mentioned here? You feel uncomfortable setting those boundaries. So how can we help you feel comfortable with those boundaries? Being able to talk and communicate in a way that your parents will understand. And if you feel like you're being overlooked a lot, just what are your parents, what are they working on? Are they working on their businesses and etc.? I know my kids probably feel like sometimes, especially now. I mean, I've been live for 52 minutes and they're in there playing. They sometimes feel that way. So maybe just talk to your parents, okay? Just maybe talk to them and just ask them, how are things going? What can we, you feel like you're being overlooked, just talk to your parents. Talk to your parents. Tell them what you're trying to do. You want to become more independent. You want to manage yourself. Just talk. Have that conversation, because ultimately, Zahib Zaquib, I want you to start feeling comfortable. And by watching the channel and learning from me, you will start to become comfortable having those difficult conversations. And that, my leaders here, that is my expertise. That is what I do. My role is to help you communicate confidently and concisely under pressure. Historical Echoes _1. Hello. Historical Echoes says, I'm just joining now. What are you talking about? We are talking about boundaries, setting boundaries. Specifically, we're focusing in on the time boundary. Now, I know you are new to the channel. I have not seen your name before. There are a couple boundaries that I want you to think about for 2026. I'll talk about them in just a moment, but let me say hello to the next person in the chat. Favorite Sunday 04G. Hello, hello. Hope you are doing well today. And Favorite Sunday says the same question. What are you talking about? We're going to go over it in a brief summary for you. Historical Echoes 1 and Favorite Sunday 04G. Give it just 1 second. So Hips Equip 123 says, thank you for the advice, and I will keep that in mind. Absolutely. And if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. I'm here to support you, and I'm glad you came back. Welcome back, and I'm here to help you any way that I can. All right, so for Historical Echoes and Favorite Sunday, and for anybody else that has joined us toward the end of our live, there are a couple things I'm going to go over really quickly with you as it relates to setting boundaries. Number one, we're going into 2026, and there are 5 boundaries I want you to really focus on as a leader transitioning into this year. These are more of your professional boundaries. Now, there's other boundaries out there, but I'm just sharing with you over 20 years worth of experience as a C-suite executive, a director, and a manager, the boundaries that you want to pay attention to if you're struggling with some aspect of a project, a goal, or something that you're trying to accomplish in your life. First boundary is the money boundary. You need to be able to manage your money very well. Second is going to be your time boundary, which is what we're focusing in on today. Third is your energy boundary. Fourth is your personal boundary. And fifth is your professional boundary. These categories I'm sharing with you, if you take a few moments to start to think about what aspects of your life are you struggling with these specific boundaries, it will help you to start to move forward in your career as you're transitioning into leadership or in your leadership roles or etc. going into 2026. Now there's other boundaries as I mentioned, but those are the top 5. We are focusing here on the time boundary. I've given some examples of when I struggle with time boundaries, specifically as a senior leader, what I did to start to mitigate those boundaries and be able to do a lot more in my business. If you're welcome to watch the replay of this live, it is a longer live. Most of my lives here are a little longer because I'm engaging with my audience. I'm talking to them. This is actually one of the lives here on YouTube where I will communicate with you. There are many lives on YouTube that I have personally seen, and a lot of my audience members and subscribers have told me about, where they log on the live and the people say nothing to them. And I'm not like that unless people come on here and they talk about inappropriate things, offensive things. We deal with trolls a little bit more now than normal just because the channel's growing. But nonetheless, I will interact with you. If you have questions and you're watching any of my live videos and you find something that you are really curious about, maybe how to maintain eye contact, how to control your emotions under pressure, how to have a difficult conversation, how to do well in the interview, how to negotiate your salary, and a lot of other wonderful things I talk about on the channel, how to speak better in public, and etc., then let me know in the comments below. I will do a video just for you and go into more detail if I need to. So Favorite Sunday 04G says, thanks for your advice. Absolutely, you're very, very welcome. I appreciate you stopping by here and saying hello. And if you like this information so far and it's been helpful, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel because this is what I talk about all the time. I go live here on YouTube Tuesday through Friday in the mornings when I'm driving, and then in the evenings around about this time, just depends on the day. But I go live for my audience because I'm incredibly passionate about helping you be able to navigate these challenging situations. So many leaders, so many individuals, they struggle with those hard conversations under pressure. And I've been in those very friendly and very, very contentious situations. And I want to make sure I share whatever I can with you so that you feel more comfortable in those hard conversations. Because if you can feel more comfortable in hard conversations, I know that you're going to be able to change other people's lives as well. And that's my mission here on this earth, is really to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers. All right, Oliver Randall, B30. Welcome, welcome. How you doing today? So we've talked about a lot as it relates to setting those boundaries. And specifically, we focused on the time boundary today. Now, for those of you who are still watching the live, I appreciate you being here. Let's do a poll really quickly. Which of the boundaries that I mentioned are you struggling with right now the most? Would it be time boundary, money boundary, energy boundary, personal boundary, or professional boundary? Which one did you struggle with the most right now? Let's talk about it in the comments below, or we'll plan to talk about it tomorrow when I go live in the morning. I mentioned to many of you who are watching my live, if you have watched my lives, you know which boundary. What was the first boundary that I struggled with? Was my personal boundary. I struggled with the personal boundary first. The next boundary that I started to struggle with was the time boundary, which is what I'm talking to you about today. I want to make sure that you all do not make the mistakes that I made in my career. One of the things that I personally felt like I could have done earlier as it relates to the time boundary is I should have thought about myself and my time a lot earlier than what I did. I was just working, those 50, 60, 70, 80 hour weeks, working, it felt like it. And I found that many times I just simply did not take that time that I only was able to really get in an executive coaching session to be able to really think what is really important to me and what types of events, activities are wasting my time. I just kept going with the flow. I kept going to the events and etc. just to say I went. And then I would leave the events and say, oh, That was such a waste of time. How many of you have ever said that when you went to some type of event or outing? Have you ever said that's such a waste of time? I know I have. I've said that many, many times. And this is something that I just don't want you all to do. I don't want you all to have to struggle with this like I did, because I would have been so much further along if I started paying a bit more closer attention to the time that I was spending on tasks, events, and etc. that were wasting my time. Now, if you want me to go into more detail on time boundaries in terms of how you can set this up in your workplaces or in your businesses and etc., then let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to talk more about that. We can talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. But I appreciate you all being here today. And as I mentioned, if you are new to me, welcome. I'm so glad that you stopped by the channel today. And I hope you gained some insight here. I guarantee you, and I don't like to guarantee much, but I guarantee you, if you are a leader, perhaps you're in my direct target audience as a woman in leadership, or maybe you're not my direct audience. I provide executive coaching and consulting services to that are women in leadership. Maybe you're a man in leadership, or a person that's not a leader just yet, but you're just trying to learn what to do. You will gain some insight on my videos. There is something you will learn. Just take some time and watch a couple of the lives and you'll learn a lot. Galaxy P7U, welcome back. Welcome back. How you doing today? Hope you're doing well. And I want to know if you all have any other questions here. I'm trying to think of what else I can share with you all as it relates to time. I shared quite a bit today, but I will say that to give you a bit of something to look forward to, there are many, 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 many times where you are going to struggle with your time boundary. And the one way to keep it as it should be, and for people to respect your boundaries, and this goes for all boundaries I mentioned to you earlier, is to be consistent. This is one of the main challenges that I notice when people are trying to develop their executive presence as leaders is consistency. If you're not able to be consistent, then people are not going to believe that you have an executive presence. If you're not able to be consistent, people are going to think, oh, I could just run over those boundaries that she has, or run over those boundaries that he has, and they're not going to do anything about it. But if you're consistent about how you communicate your boundaries and being very affirmative, don't be apologetic about setting boundaries, leaders. Please don't do that. Do not be apologetic about setting boundaries. Don't say, I'm so sorry. Oh, I know, I'm so sorry. You don't need to apologize for loving your life and taking care of yourself. Please don't do that. Do not apologize for these boundaries. You have to do what you have to do to take care of yourself. And as I mentioned earlier, we talked about this, and I know many of you are just joining and did not see what I mentioned. In order for you to take care of yourself, in order for you to take care of other people, you have to take care of yourself. Think about what happens when you go onto a plane. They tell you to do what? Put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you try to put it on anybody else. That goes for your life also. All right, so Galaxy P7U says, hi, dear you. You're so pretty. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you're doing well today. And Galaxy P7U says correct. And Galaxy P7U says true. Well, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you so much. Now, I have a couple of things going on. The channel is growing quite a bit. I'm really excited. I'm just really blessed to have you all as my subscribers. You all are a huge part of my journey here. And I just really appreciate interacting with all of you. I really appreciate you so much. Those who come back to the channel. Some of you I've seen once and I'll see your name again and I'll say hello. I'm just glad that you're here, and I'm just blessed to be a part of your journey wherever you are going right now, whether you are in my audience as a woman in leadership in terms of my coaching practice, or maybe you're a man in leadership and you're not a leader just yet. I'm just glad to be here and be a part of your journey. I will say that there is a high possibility that I'm going to be doing a marathon live on Monday, December the 22nd. And I want to know from you, I'm going to actually put something in the community post to see what topic do you want me to cover during this marathon live that I'm going to do. Because I mentioned to you all, I wanted to do something special for you at 500 subscribers, and I didn't get the chance to do it because the channel has grown so fast. I didn't know we were going to grow so quickly. And so now we're just speeding up to 1,000 subscribers, and that's a huge milestone for any YouTube channel. That's a big milestone. And I just appreciate you all. So I want to be able to be that person that can give you any guidance, any advice. So let me know what you want to learn about. I'll put a couple things in the chat. I know when we talk about boundaries, that gets the most attention from what I can tell. But if there's something else you have, maybe you have a question you want me to answer, then let me know. I will do a question for you. I'll give you a response, and I'll make sure I will screenshot when I talk about your specific question so that I can have it ready for you. I hope you all have an amazing day. And before we finish up, Galaxy P7U says, if there is next, let's see. I think you're saying if I was there next to you, I would make you coffee. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. All right. Well, let me know what you all think about Marathon Live topic. I'm going to start posting on that tomorrow because that is going to happen on Monday. And this is the time. If you are struggling with anything as it relates to leadership and communication and really challenging scenarios and things that you're dealing with, and you just don't know how to manage it, and you need just someone just to talk to, then that is your day to have a Q&A with me to talk about this. What we're going to go over will help you be able to go to that next level and really be able to get some things accomplished for you as you're transitioning into 2026. All right, Galaxy P7U, there's some emojis there. I appreciate you all. And thank you so much for joining today. Let me know how I can support you, what questions you want to learn more about, and what you have to do to go to that next level in your leadership journey. So Galaxy P7U says, please don't go. Well, Galaxy, I would absolutely love to stay here and chat with you. I've been live for about an hour and I have to get my kids ready for bed. So that's the reason why I have to go. And I have to get ready so I can be ready for you all when I go live tomorrow. But Galaxy P7U, if you have some topics specifically as it relates to communication, leadership, and just navigating life as a professional, just let me know in some of the comments or in the videos that you watch on my live tab or my pre-recorded videos. Leave me a comment, ask me a question. I will either send you a voice response, or if I feel like it needs a bit more depth, I'll do a video just for you, Galaxy P7U, and give you a shout out in the video as well. All right, I hope you all have an absolutely amazing day, and I will see you in the live tomorrow. Oh, one more thing. Galaxy P7U says, oh, cool. Please, have a blessed weekend, dear. Lots of love. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. High five to you, friend, and have a blessed weekend as well. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.